All right, Shalom. I say, call Lord, Allah, was all praise, honor, and glory in Hebrew. To Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Makakadash, Divine Spouse, Elders, Agree, Wisdom, what's got left pieces, Israelite foreigners. Let's welcome to the truth. We got a news article. All right. Because all we going over here in GMS, all we do is talk about prophecies, man. That's all we talking about. All right, but anyway, it says what USAID does, or USAID does, it impacts, and what Trump cuts means. Oxfam takes a closer look at USAID, an agency that provides critical help to the world and the impact of Trump's and aid freeze. U.S. foreign aid plays a critical role in tracking poverty, hunger, and inequality worldwide, which is why the Trump administration recently cuts to the foreign development assistance were met with public coverage and pushback from development and humanitarian organizations, including Oxfam. On March 10th, Secretary of State of Marco Rubio announced that he had cut 83% of USAID, Agencies for International Development, USAID programs, which provide humanitarian development assistance and worldwide to people on some of the world's global crises. Oxfam has responded to the attacks on USAID by joining other humanitarian groups and lawsuit to defend USAID and U.S. foreign assistance, which is ongoing. So what does the Trump administration decisions to eliminate so much foreign aid mean? What impact could it have around the world, and why is it critical for a government to reverse the decision? Oxfam answers all these questions and more. What is USAID and what does it mean? What does it do? Foreign programs help people around the world in various ways, providing food, health care, education, economic development, disaster relief. Is a key part of U.S. foreign policy and has proven to be an important factor in reducing global poverty. This type of assistance from the U.S. as well as other governments and international institutions has saved millions of lives. And particularly USAID, which facilitates much of the foreign humanitarian development assistance of the U.S. government, was established in 1961 as an independent agency to foster prosperity, save lives around the world, on the globe. USAID works as a wide range of issues and has brought life-saving medicines, food, clean water assistance for farmers, keep women and girls safe, promote peace, so much more over the decades for all less than 1% of our federal budget. This part did not tell you though. The trade for this USAID, all USAID, when the United States give all these foreign countries, or these poor countries USAID, they own them. They have to go by the rules of the U.S. now. They have to basically do whatever the U.S. tells them to do because they gave them money. Okay, they gave them money to modernize themselves, and there's always nothing's never for free, man. All right, there's always a motive behind money when money's involved, especially when money's involved. Okay, they ain't just do that because of all the goodwill of their heart. They own those countries, man. All right, they become slaves into the U.S. All right, but there is not a we say the borrower servant to lender. There's not a single area of the development of humanitarian assistance USA has not been involved in, said Oxfam America's president and CEO Abby Maxman, who has been working in international development for 30 years. People at USA have been thought leaders implementing ideas scale in wide range areas. I don't think there's a major area of development system in which USA did not bring in technological know-how, research, and evidence. How much aid does the U.S. give to foreign countries? In the United States typically spends around 1% of the federal budget on foreign development assistance, which includes both humanitarian assistance and development programs. The agencies oversee much of the U.S. foreign aid, and the U.S. Agency for International Development, which had budget of $63 billion in fiscal year 2023 with the board definition of foreign aid and the exact amount of poverty-focused development aid carried out. The U.S. varies from year to year, but recently has been around 49% federal budget, which works out to about 105 per U.S. citizen per year. Now, what's funny is now this dude Trump and Elon Musk, they came in with the audits. Come to find out that Congress and all these other government politicians and all that stuff, they've been using foreign aid as a money laundering avenue. Okay, all this foreign aid they've been writing blank checks to pay themselves. Okay, and this is all out of the U.S. United States taxpayers' money. Ain't that some shit? All right, that's why most of these Congress and other politicians are mad at Trump and Elon for doing this, man. Because they can't, the gravy chain is being cut off. All right, so there's a corruption right there, and they can't line their pockets up no more. Okay. Yeah, man, that's why Elon Musk rattled a lot of cages as far as the U.S. political world. And taxpayer money has been misused as a result of it. And they giving all that money out over there at them foreign countries. Meanwhile, you have United States citizens. They up there suffering poverty. Things are not getting fixed as far as the infrastructure. And U.S. just not taking care of their own, so they looking like hypocrites. They trying to prove themselves to be like heroes and shit. They not even fixing over here in their own backyard. But anyway, I'm finishing this up. What are some examples of how USAID has helped people? USAID work abroad covers many regions and issues, including HIV prevention, humanitarian crisis, Congo war relief in Ukraine, among numerous others. One of the efforts funded by the USAID, which will come at the halt given Trump administration attack on the agency, involves in a mine clearing Southeast Asia where explored bombs from Vietnam War has killed tens of thousands of people. Although USAID has provided treatment to people maimed by these weapons, there's still plenty of work to be done that will be affected by the cuts. See, this is bullshit, man. All that money being spent on those other countries, but yet you have people, United States civilians, they're homeless. All right, they can't eat. All right, this is supposed to be the richest country in the world, but their own citizens is catching hell, man. All these tent cities. All right, people being evicted, jobs are being cut. Come on, man. Like poverty is in the U.S. is going rampant. All right, but we got money to give out to other countries. That don't make no sense. So while the aid suspension will create disastrous conditions for people living in high risk, they don't give a man. Hold on, U.S. don't give a fuck about them other people in other countries, man. All right, like I said, there's a money laundering business. Foreign aid is a money laundering business. That's all it is, man. Another program which has saved lives of millions in the U.S. President emergency plan for AIDS relief since 2003. The program has saved over 25 million lives, prevented millions of HIV infections, and supported countries in HIV epidemic control. The program has been incredibly successful in increasing HIV testing, providing life-saving treatment, and improving health systems worldwide. Now, under the aid freeze, PEPFAR's future under the threat, potentially leaving more than 20 million People including this shit. I don't even want to read this shit because it's such BS, man. All right. How much impact the closing in the USA have? Aid workers in war zones that have allegedly experienced what cutting the USA foreign aid would be like when the Trump administration announced a 90-day home foreign assistance. The stop work of under occurring while hundreds of thousands of people in eastern areas of the Democratic Republic of Congo were fleeing violence. Many gathered in the city of Goma, local water and sanitation infrastructure could not meet their needs. Aid organizations funded by the USAID were forced to immediately stop essential work providing clean water and other life-saving aid to prevent people affected by conflict or badly in need of help. The displaced population of Goma now face dire conditions that threaten their health, safety, and well-being. Oxfam state in press release, without proper shelter and across the critical resources, the risk of diseases outbreaks, including the Mpox virus, which has already claimed countries' lives in the country, further compounds their trauma. Although the U.S. government did not successfully allow narrow range of life-saving humanitarian aid to countries, there are now numerous reports that the Trump administration intends to shut down USAID and discontinue much of its long-term development emergency assistance. We already witnessed life-threatening, wide-range impacts of a temporary disruption of U.S. foreign assistance, noted Max Mann in a press statement. This action would expand those disruptions exponentially by punishing the people who are already suffering the most. Underlying U.S. critical interest in halting decades of progress towards a safer, more equal world. What is the greatest concept about the impact of these cuts can have when it comes to reduction and elimination of critical foreign aid? It has to say which areas would cause the greatest concern. We know that we are going to see terrible impacts of people in places like Saudi, Sudan, Yemen, and Democratic Republic of Congo, Syria, and occupied Palestinian territory. Aid cuts will most likely several affect people in areas enduring conflict and danger, emergencies where people are suffering the worst forms of poverty, and many displaced people will face unacceptable high risk of waterborne diseases such as cholera, refugee camps with no again, y'all get the point. Alright, a lot of countries worldwide depend on U.S. aid, and Trump through the cuts. Alright, Trump and Elon Musk is cutting everywhere, man. Like, there's no place that's safe. And this is the work of Heavenly Father, man. But this just goes to prove I'm about to get it. I'm just about to get it, man. Because this is Obadiah 1:7 all day. This is all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. Right, who's in reliance with U.S. a lot of people. UN, EU, EU and NATO, right? There's the world powers right there. Even Russia. Everybody's in legion and doing business with America. That's how the other nations got rich off this whole. Scriptures tell you that. Through Babylon, great riches came about. Roughly paraphrasing it. Revelation 18 chapter. And then you got countries like Ukraine, like which Trump just cut. His name is Zelensky off. The Ukraine president, which he's a small hat, a JOO. He cut them off from weapons, man, supply. Right? Another country, as I just read, okay? The U.S. is the gravy train for all these countries, man. All right, they're the bankroll for most countries. as far as resources and money, getting shit done. But it says all men like confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee, and there is none understanding them. Right. So all these countries that take foreign aid from you, that's what their bread is. Right. Jake said all the time, I'm getting bread, which is money. All these nations that do business with you for as money wise, all right, and receive some type of assistance. They playing your ass, man. They playing your ass, man. But they gonna shoot missiles on you in the end result. Okay? NATO, EU, all those countries, man. And they getting tired of your shit, man. The terrorists that you've been placed on them, like China, Canada, Mexico, France, Italy, and all them other countries, man. All right, they that was a stab in the back, and they ain't taking that lightly. Okay, because now they gonna suffer, all because you want to make America great again, right? Well, that's gonna result in this right here. Let me get that. Oh, where is that? Is Revelations 17:16. It says, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore and make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. Now the 10 horns is talking about the EU. Okay? And the beast himself is NATO, and 10 horns upon is the EU. Okay? As our apostle elders taught us. And what proves that is Salakia. Let me see. I take a picture of that shit. Yeah. Right here. I just put this in Google. It says, what are the 10 countries in the EU? And the AI and Google said this. It says, the European EU had 10 member countries. This is how it started off. That's the spirit, man. All right. 10 member countries from January to 1981 to 2004. These countries were, and these are all the countries that our apostles and elders, GMS, have told us, man. Which shows you they on point. It says Belgium, Denmark, France, Germany, Greece, Ireland, Italy, Luxembourg, Netherlands, and United Kingdom. Boy, this is on point, man. This is on point. All right. And part of these, that's part of the scripture comparing the EU countries to iron and clay, because you have some of these EU countries, some are financially strong and some are financially weak. I'll give you an example. All right, Germany is financially strong, which will make it iron, and Greece will be they'll be weak. Okay, because their economy is shit, man. You go back a couple years ago, how they was doing bank runs, and women over there were selling their cat for fucking $5 and some sandwiches and shit like that. Okay, that's a weak economy. All right. So yeah, man, shit gonna get real. All right, shit gonna get real, man. And I believe France is part of the clay too, because they had the what's it called out there, the yellow coats, when all that uprising was happening over there due to gas stations being shut down and workers losing their jobs, so they'd be part of that clay too. All right. UK would be United Kingdom, which is basically what's it called Britain. They will be financially strong, okay? Because they help other countries out with their business, All right, and not only that, you have a lot of yeah, I forgot my train of thought, but that's the point, man. All right, that's EU right there. Okay, those are the countries that consist of the EU. There's those 10 horns. Those countries right there. Is these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. Nuclear missiles. That's what I'm talking about. That's what they're gonna do. For Most High put in their hearts to fulfill His will and His and greed, and give their kingdom unto the beast. All right, and the words of the Most High shall be fulfilled. Right, and they gonna give their kingdom to the beast system, man, which is that Roman system. All right, most of them countries have presidents now, and they have to be a democracy. All right, type of political parties, and they gonna have to get that microchip system. That's part of the giving their kingdom to the beast. All right, Scripture talking about the 666. All right, which is it consists of that, man. All right, it shall make an image like unto the beast, which is the Roman system, which is America's Rome all over again, and in Rome, America's copycat the Roman system. That's why DC, which is a major capital of Babylon the Great, all the Supreme Courts and all the big court systems are in that region, are in that state. Okay, the super high courts. All right, well, most laws get passed through. The final decision of laws getting passed through is in those states, and they all look like Rome. Okay, they all look like Rome, copycat Rome, the infrastructure and all that shit like that. Showing you just Rome all over again. Okay. And they gonna hate the whore being America. They gonna shoot missiles on this place. And the Most High is going to make it where the legion that they made with America is gonna come to a halt, man. It's gonna come to an end. They're gonna have a disagreement, and it's gonna be so bad where they nuclear capability is gonna be used on this place. They're gonna say fuck this place. And you can see it happen through the trade wars. You can see it happen, man, through the trade wars, because the people with Trump, if he's the last president, I can see that happen. I could be wrong, but this dude, when Trump was in office last year, man, he was making shit happen. All right, and I can see it right now, man, because the dude, Trump, he makes shit happen, man. That's all I can say about that. So if he's our guy, all right, he's gonna cause this place to go in World War III, and that's gonna be the end. That's the last prophecy, the chip and World War III, and the chip is gonna come before World War III. Okay, that's the sequence. It's gonna be the chip, then it's gonna be World War III. All right, and trade wars become real wars. Right, because the people suffer under trades, man. All right, the economy suffers, and the economy suffers under whatever state. It's no longer prosperous, and it becomes a failure. All right, country becomes nothing. So yeah, it's gonna get real, man. It's gonna get real. Things gonna continue to heat up. It's not gonna get better. It's gonna get worse. But throughout all this chaos and turmoil, is gonna come our salvation, the nation Israel. And man, we can't fucking wait, man. Brothers, I know the apostles, the elders, they've been waiting on this day like a motherfucker. They more anxious than anybody. All right. But besides the apostles, and elders, a great millstone, I'm gonna say, because they do diligence. Yahushua himself, man. Don't nobody want this more than Yahushua. Alright? And he's still pissed from them 2 Roman soldiers. Alright, and what our people did to him. Sentencing, caused him to get put to death. But anyway, I'm gonna end it on that. We're getting closer to the end, man. The birth pains are coming. But with that, we give our praise and glory to Yahweh Shem Shaddai, my positive Muslims, like fuses as our fortune.